like honey. What you do ain't funny. You stick to me like like I stick to you like honey. What I do ain't funny. I stick to you like I'm feeling like time passed me by. That's why I'm sitting on my phone all afternoon. But who am I to even try to make a difference when the world is probably ending soon? Everybody's saying they're an individual, but all we do is try not to be invisible. We're doing dances, trying to find the love we never could. Wanna look at it a little more critical, 'cause we're the generation who made the pillars fall. What are the chances? I'd say they're pretty good. I say they're pretty good. Everybody said now we need a miracle.
Hey everybody, happy Freeform Friday. How are y'all doing? Wherever you are out there in the wilds of the internet today, I hope everyone has had a good day. We had a good day here at the Beading. We got to see, as usual, some of our favorite people, which is always an awesome day. Also, I have to point out that I have a new sticker on my bulletin board, which was a gift from Susan Wilk, who is one of both our in-person and on-stream viewers when she came in the other day. So I feel like I need to... There, now you can actually see the whole thing. Woo! It's very cute and very fun. So
it is.
It's great to see all of you all out there on the internet today. So it's Freeform Friday. So this means that I'm going to pick a project, or I have picked a project. I did actually do it before stream for once. And I'm going to attempt to complete that project start to finish in front of all of you live this evening. So, you know what's super helpful is if I turn on my lights. Let there be light. Exactly. Okay. So what I have is I have these two components, and these are both from Nina Designs, who is one of my favorite producers of sterling silver components. They have absolutely fantastic designs. Also, they give microloans to women-owned small businesses in third world countries, and also their entire staff are just super friendly, genuine, awesome people. So
we love them.
We love them. I love working with them, and they have great product, which doesn't hurt. It's absolutely a bonus. Now what I do want to do is I'm going to focus my camera a little bit better on this. But what I want to do, or attempt to do tonight, and if I melt these components, I'm going to be really, really sad. I shall be sad panda for sure, but I'm going to try.
I don't think you will.
I'm hoping I don't. There we go. That's a little better. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take these two pretty moonstone cabochons, and I'm going to try and actually solder a bezel onto these eye components and then set the moonstone in them. And like I said, I'm going to really hope that I don't melt anything in the process. You really never know with me and my torch whether it's going to be a good day or a bad day. Are you a good torch or a bad torch?
Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Apparently it's just been a day for references from The Wizard of Oz, because we were doing that earlier.
It's true. I was the wizard.
You were the wizard, but then you were also the Wicked Witch of the West.
I was, and now I'm Glinda.
So Heather is apparently doing the one-woman show.
I'm an understudy
of The Wizard of Oz.
I'm ready to step in.
She's all of the characters, every single character. Heather is they in this particular scenario.
Yeah. One night, if it's appropriate to yell on camera, I'll do my Wicked Witch of the West.
Well, which got started though by my evil cackling about the fact that we were not actually going to have a snowflake today. Hi, Smee!
Hello, Smee! Which is extremely sad for me.
Well, not
for people
for me.
of my persuasion.
Yeah, well, you people are weird. All you snow people
are
not strange.
Weird. I'm totally
okay. Come
weird.
on. Yeah, thank you. You can't say that.
Yeah, that was a bad path.
Warmer in San Antonio?
Pardon?
Is it warmer in San Antonio?
Yeah.
Hey, Smee, is it warmer in San Antonio? Carol wants to know, or Carol May wants to know. One of the team Carols wants to know. So, so it was actually, it's chilly, it's windy, it did rain, thick rain here in Dallas, but it did not ice, it did not snow, it did not sleet, to my knowledge, at all today.
It was a little bit of sleet when I was heading to my car.
And there were no snowflakes, much to Heather's dismay.
So much dismay.
So yes, it was the winter day that didn't.
I'm so glad we didn't close today, but they could have at least given me snow.
Amy,
That would have been nice.
Amy says, Carol May, it's 45 with the windshield making it feel like 34. So, okay, so since my cabochons are round, I'm gonna try using a form to make my bezels, and since I've once again misplaced my bezel mandrel, I'd say it's on the floor, but Ace just cleaned off the floor, so I have no idea where it is.
What you mean?
My bezel mandrel, I've lost it again.
I don't know where that is.
Yeah, that makes two of us. So I'm going
I have a wooden bracelet mandrel, and that's all I got.
So, yeah, and unfortunately that's way too large. So I'm going to try using my solder pick to make...
Yes, Tallyfet was summoned!
Hi, Tallyfet! How are you? How's everything where you are? I hope the weather is warmer than here in the Dallas. Okay, so this is going to be, this definitely has the possibility to become an episode of Allison Screws Up on the internet. So, you know, stay tuned. Because the fit here is really, really precise. Like, this Moonstone cab, and the good news is that Nina, these are both exactly the same components as far as like the size of the eye. So if I get it to work on one, I should be able to get it to work on both. But see how close that fits? So that means that I'm gonna have to make a bezel that's gonna go right, like if I don't make the bezel right around the outside of that round part of the eye, my my cabochon's not gonna fit. So I'm gonna have to do my best to keep it. I feel like it might need to be just a hair bigger than that. So, you know, fun times. Let's see, so Smee, Tallyfet, how are your days? How's everything? Okay, so I've got this. I got shrimps in my fajitas today. Alright, so I've got my bezel made, and I'm gonna grab my metal shears and I'm gonna trim that. Okay, so there's one bezel. Appetizers are the best, it's true. Because they come fried. Fried is good. Tastes good anyway.
I'm for it. What?
I throwed the bezel strip. Was that?
Yeah.
Were they trying to be...
Nope.
See, it sounded like they were trying to be stealthy.
They failed. That's why I posted.
Oh, good gracious. I'm gonna have a drink.
Yep. That'll help.
And then I'm gonna keep going.
Yes.
Alright, so I'm doing 2 of these, so I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm gonna make a second bezel, and again, I've lost my bezel mandrel. So I'm using my solder pick. And let's see, I want to make it
There's
just...
not a chicken strip left.
Oh no, I took it already.
Then there are like 7 pieces of food left in there for you.
It's okay. Yay. Hand tools. Hand tools are helpful.
Yes, Tallyfet and
Be
I
right back.
became official friends today.
Yay for that. Okay. So, I'm I'm going to now line up these bezels, and I'm going to see if I can get away without filing them. This may be a terrible choice on my part, but sometimes we make terrible choices in our lives. Sometimes we hire employees who consistently leave 5 minutes before the end of their shift. You know, it's just a thing that happens. Okay, so now I'm going to... It's the same size. This one's definitely bigger. Maybe I want to make a third one, and then we'll see which two work best. Because sometimes that's just how you have to do when you're doing this. Ooh. Yum. I know, right? Food. Food's good. We like the food. That's okay, at least we're slowly learning to squirrel away our food before the end of the day. Now once again, I do not understand why some people never learn how to share.
Not everyone absorbed kindergarten.
Apparently not.
I absorbed kindergarten even before I entered kindergarten.
I see.
Because I'm fancy.
You had like kindergarten osmosis?
Yes.
Yes. Sauce.
I did not, in fact, say them me sauce. Although, I mean, them me sauce is appropriate sometimes, I guess.
Okay, so now I'm going to solder my bezels closed, which means I need to flux them. And this is fine silver bezel strip, so it doesn't oxidize, so I don't need to worry quite as much about flux as I would if it were sterling bezel strip. And then, since this is a freeform project, I am pick transferring my solder. So that means I'm going to take 3 pieces of solder, put them over here on the corner of my soldering board, flux each one of them. Oh, which, speaking of sauce, I should show everybody. So I love... I wasn't even looking at the chat.
That's hilarious.
So yeah, so I love Cholula sauce. It's one of my favorite condiments. I will literally put it on almost anything, and so I finally found my ideal size of Cholula, because I was not using up my Costco membership, but I had a Costco membership that expired at the end of February, and so I used that membership to order a whole bunch of stuff right before it expired, you know, like you do. And so one of the things I ordered was the perfect size of Cholula, which is presented here with Ziggy for scale. It's a 64-ounce bottle of Cholula. It's almost 2 full liters of hot sauce. It is literally the size of Mamie, but she was not present for the picture. Yes, I think that is Frank's Red Hot.
I believe that is Frank's
Yes.
Red Hot. I think you're right. Yeah.
Which I also quite enjoy, but
Yes. Yes, but Cholula is its own thing.
But yes, finally found my perfect size, 64 ounces. That should last me for a solid, like, 2 months, maybe 3.
6 weeks. I give it weeks.
Heather gives it 6 weeks. All right, we could have a bet going. There could be a pool as to
I think we should have a pool.
All right, bye TallyFed. Happy grocery shopping.
Bye.
Okay, so now I'm gonna solder these babies together. Cool for how long it's gonna take me to eat the Cholula. But it would have to be a secret pool, like, that I wasn't aware of. Otherwise, I would, like, be tempted to influence the outcome. Since we're betting on me, you know? Like, you're gonna have to, like, pick squares or something without me knowing what the parameters are. Otherwise, I'll just, you know, down that whole jug. Which would be a waste. Okay, well, obviously that one didn't solder. When it does that, obviously it didn't solder closed. Alright, we'll see if I need that one, I will reform it and resolder it. But for the moment, I need these two to cool off. No, don't. Okay, don't set it on fire, please. And yes, I was talking to the bezel and asking it not to set my work surface, which is made of paper, on fire. Okay, so we're gonna see if this fits around. Hi, Diane! Ooh, that's actually way bigger than it needs to be.
It's a Corvus.
It's a Corvus! Hi, Corvus! Wow, those are both bigger than they need to be. Okay, so now we size down and resolder. What I should have done was obviously try these around my stones before I soldered them. So, you know, live and learn. And try again.
Yes.
So I'm just gonna size these down and then solder them again. I'm almost afraid to ask Corvus what the weather's like, but part of me really wants to know. Hey Corvus, what's the weather like where you are? And Ziggy did come in when it was thick raining earlier, like this morning earlier, and hate you, Corvus. I love you, but I hate you.
I love you, but I'm not jealous, actually.
I am completely jealous.
I'm jealous of your nails.
Okay, that's fair and valid. But she's got awesome nails and she's sunbathing.
I'm going to Lori's.
Alright, fine. You go to Lori's, I'll go to Corvus's. We'll have fun. We can, you know, figure out this whole remote thing.
You know, if there's ever a reason that we need to close Beading Dreams as a store, I feel like we have a good future ahead of us as a remote store.
Fair. Okay, so I've sized these down. And now I'm going to solder them again. And yes, Diane, it is. And that actually, so tomorrow's Mandala Pennant is actually a class that I totally stole from a bead store that I used to work in. I've modified it for content and to run in the time allotted. But but it always used to tick me off because they advertised it as circular peyote stitch, and I was like, but it's not though. It's brick stitch, not peyote. Brick. Yeah. They did not care. Okay, so now I'm going to attempt to solder these again. yeah, the evil cackle that started all the Wizard of Oz, or most of the Wizard of Oz references for today, was because Texas did not give Heather her single snowflake that she wanted. And I was cackling about it like a mean person. Enough to roll around in. Oh, if I never see that much snow again, I will be a happy person. Okay, so now I'm just rounding these out again. Okay, and they're still a wee scotch big for my stone, but a much better fit than before. Thank you, Amy. They are pretty moonstones. They're this material, this whatever new mine or whatever that these moonstones are coming out of, they were all over Tucson and they were dumb, stupid expensive. So I got like one. And then one of my suppliers finally got them at a more reasonable price. I don't know if the if more of the rough became available or what, but so I was able to get a couple more that cost me not nearly as much as the first batch. But yeah, they are super pretty. Super pretty, super rainbowy.
Yes.
Really nice.
I will trade my apartment to ASO for snow.
Again, weirdo. Okay, so now that I've got my bezels set, I'm going to grab my eye components. And I'm going to attempt to solder my bezels onto my eye components and not melt anything. And yes, Corvus, they are really pretty moonstones. And pretty soon they will be moonstones set in cool eye pendants. So this is a semi-handmade project where I'm using pre-made components, but the interesting thing about these components is this actually is something that one could conceivably totally just flat solder out of wire. Like, I'm sure this is a cast component, but you could replicate this very easily using just like an 18 or a 19 gauge sterling silver wire, or you can buy them already done. So in answer to Diane's question, these are prefabricated sterling. I bought them from Nina Designs, who's a company that I love and love to support. And a lot of their things that I purchase are three-dimensional cast things that I literally don't have the capability to produce. These I theoretically, again, I could have produced them, but I also can go on the computer and go do, and then they show up at the shop. So you know, sometimes that's just better. Alright, so I'm gonna, how do I want to do this? Okay, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sweat some solder onto the circles of these eyes, and then I'm gonna try and solder my bezel in. And I'm not gonna be an idiot and try and do that with medium solder. I'm gonna locate some extra easy solder, because once again, I have concerns about melting specifically these like eyelash type bits. Okay, why do I have a string of aquamarine teardrops in here, but I have no extra easy solder?
I also have questions, actually.
I bet all the extra easy solder like squooshed out and tried to stab Heather. So I'm gonna
yes, yeah.
So I'm gonna go grab some extra easy solder. Do you want to be on screen while I go do that? Do you want to tell a story?
Okay, sure. What?
You don't
I
have
know
to.
What story?
Okay, that's okay.
Okay.
You don't have to tell a story.
Oh, I can tell a story about Iceland.
Okay. Do you want to be on camera while you do it?
Sure, I can do that.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's a Heather.
Hi! I love y'all. So, one of my friends went to Iceland a couple of years ago before the pandemic because she's a cancer survivor, so she is not exactly free with her travel right now. But they went to Iceland, and the whole idea was to see the Northern Lights and then come home. And they went to this one park that is famous for its waterfall, and there were all kinds of signs saying do not go close to this waterfall because obviously it was not safe. So my friend posted something online about an influencer who was taking pictures and video next to the waterfall and breaking all the rules and endangering his entire life for clout. And so it turned out that she ended up in all of the Icelandic newspapers, all of the Icelandic blogs, the Icelandic news. Like they contacted her and actually interviewed her and all these things. So my friend Nora is famous in Iceland, but not for risking her life, but for calling out other people for risking their lives, which I think is amazing. She's awesome. I love her so much. And
That's a good story.
it is a good story, but here I am still telling my story.
That's because you weren't quite done, so I decided I had time for a refill.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
Have I ever told my repelling story to the stream?
No, you haven't. You've only,
At some point,
take yourself back.
I will tell y'all the repelling story. The one and only time I ever was repelling, and yeah. But it was at Ozone Falls, which is gorgeous. Have you ever been to
it?
Have you ever been to Ozone Falls?
No, you should tell it.
Okay, Heather wants me to tell it. All right, I will tell my repelling story whilst I'm sweating solder onto these eyes. Okay, so back in my younger days in college, I dated a rock climber pretty seriously, and so the thing about being a climber's girlfriend is you usually wind up becoming a climber yourself, or at least climber adjacent. And he took me home to meet his family one spring break, and he lived in Knoxville. Well, okay, he didn't live in Knoxville, Tennessee. He lived just outside of Andersonville, Tennessee. Knoxville being the closest proper city. He went to high school in Oak Ridge, because I don't even know if there was a high school in Andersonville. But anyway, Tennessee is beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so I'm sweating solder onto this while I'm telling the tragic story of my one repelling incident of my entire life. And so that's not the right torch. So he takes me home to meet his family, and he's also going to show me, you know, some of the natural beauty and wonder of Tennessee. And of course, since he's a rock climber, this is going to involve climbing and ropes, and not in that way, people. I heard you, Corvus. I heard you thinking it. And he decided he was going to take me rappelling at Ozone Falls, which is an absolutely gorgeous waterfall. It's one of those... Okay, stop. One of those waterfalls that's got... Sorry, this needs interpretive dance. It's one of those waterfalls that's like the cliff juts out over and then like cuts back. So the water is just like shooting out into, you know, the middle of the middle of nowhere. And then, oh crap. Okay, that's fixable. We have slight malfunction here, which is all of a sudden this has no loop. The loop actually came off. Here it is, and it is now on my work surface instead of on my pendant. So that should be pretty easy to fix. So I'm just going to set that aside for a minute. But so anyway, so yeah, so it's this beautiful waterfall, and so it shoots off into, you know, nowhere, and then goes down, several hundred feet. I'm going to say 300 feet down, just at a ballpark, into this beautiful, just like almost perfectly circular pool of water, and it's absolutely gorgeous. So the plan is we're going to rappel off the cliff next to the waterfall, so like not in the waterfall, but next to the waterfall, and you know, rappel right down to the edge of the water, and then we're going to hike back out. Okay, fine. This is the plan. So first of all, this is Tennessee at spring break time, which is March, which means that all of the water that's coming down this river into this waterfall is pretty much all straight snow melt from the mountains. Not warm. So we hike up to the top of the cliff. We have to cross the river to get to the other side. Why did the Allison cross the river? Because there was a boy on the other side. That's why. And as we're crossing the river, I'm like, this water's really cold. And he's like, oh yeah, it's spring in Tennessee. Like, no big deal. We won't really be getting wet aside from, you know, crossing this river. So he sets up the rappel. Gives me a crash course in how to rappel. I thought he was hot at the time. Let's go with that. And he drops the rope down, and I see that the end of the rope is in the water. The pool at the bottom of the waterfall. And I'm like, is that supposed to be in the water? And he's like, oh, it's not that deep there. It's probably like, you know, it's probably shallower than the river we just crossed. Like, it's no big deal. We'll wrap down into it, you know, pull the rope down, hike out, like, you know, your boots will get wet and that's it. Okay, fine. So he sends me down first. And I don't exactly remember why he sent me down first, but he did. So I successfully rappel down the rope. Rappelling is actually super fun, and as long as you have somebody competent to set up your rappel, it's not very difficult. And I get to the bottom, and I keep going down, expecting my boots to touch something solid. And they don't. I just keep going down and down and down into the freezing cold water. And then the idea was that after I unhooked myself from the rappel, he was going to pull, because we only had one of our rappel devices, his rappel device. We only had one figure 8, so he was going to pull it back up on the rope, then re-drop the rope, re-clip on, and then he was going to come down. And so I'm in like 8 feet of water at this point, like treading water in hiking boots. I think I was wearing jeans and like a sweatshirt, in water at this point, you know, up to like my chest. And then I'm thinking, oh my God, you know, and I see him trying to pull the rope up, and he can't pull the rope up. And I'm like, oh, it must be stuck on something. So I grab the rope thinking I'm going to yank it off of whatever it's stuck on so he can pull it back up. It was so stuck that instead what I did is I grabbed the rope and I yanked myself under the water, because it was like a 300-foot rappel, and I think he had something like a 400-foot rope. Like, the rope had literally like twined itself around the rocks at the bottom of the pool. So now I'm literally drenched head to foot in this snow melt water. I'm treading water, fully clothed. My boyfriend is 300 feet up a cliff, basically just looking down on me like, okay. and also let it be known that like March in Tennessee is
brisk at best.
Brisk, yeah. So
especially the water. Oh my gosh, the mountain water comes down from the mountain.
Yep, yeah. So managed to swim my way to dry land and just like get myself out on a boulder, and I'm just like shivering because of course we hadn't brought any towels or anything with us because we were not expecting to rappel down into a pool of, you know, freezing cold water. He finally he had another device that he could use to rappel called an ATC, so he came down in his ATC and basically wound up thank goodness he had a knife on him, wound up cutting the rope, and we just like left 100 feet of rope at the bottom of the pool in Ozone Falls. Like, oops, sorry for littering. And so yeah, so we cut the rope, got both the belay devices off, and then I was like, I'm going back to the car, and you can go back to the top of the rappel setup and get all of your shit. I'm gonna go sit in the car and turn on the heater.
Oh my gosh!
So yeah, that's the first and only time I've ever been rappelling. The actual rappelling part though, super fun. The other part, not so much. So anyway, apparently I was not capable of actually telling that story while soldering since I screwed something up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and try and sweat my solder onto these components. But yeah, I would 100% go rappelling again.
Maybe not with him.
Not with that guy.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's okay. Like so many of my former boyfriends, he's married with children now. So I don't think rappelling with him is in my future anyway.
Yeah. We can go though.
We can go, but I mean, we need somebody competent to set it up, because I'm not competent enough to set up a rappel thing. Like, nobody wants to rappel. P.S. Public service announcement: if Allison sets up a rope 300 feet long and says shinny down this, you say no, ma'am. I do not trust you, because I am not. No, not competent. I can remember how to tie a figure 8 knot. I can still operate a belay device.
I know what ropes are.
But I have shibari rope.
Ah!
Oh wow, did I like break Heather?
I have notes. Oh my gosh.
Okay, so now I'm going to take these bezels and I'm going to put them onto my eyepieces that I have sweated solder onto. Okay, so, and then I'm going to bump my solder board and I'm going to undo everything that I just did. Okay, so theoretically, I don't have to put any more solder on here, and I probably shouldn't have to put any more flux on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to heat these, and in theory, the solder is going to reflow and bond everything together. And then I'm going to have to resolder that loop back onto this round eye component. Alright, so there's that one. So you can probably, hopefully see on the camera, you can see the solder moving and flowing. So when you're doing this, you know, your goal is just you want to try and draw the solder obviously to the bezel, and you want to try and not melt any parts off of your component, which I successfully did on that one. This is the one that I done screwed up. So I don't think I'm going to be able to solder this little bit back on. So what I'm going to do is, assuming that's not too hot, I'm just going to cut that off and I'm just going to solder this big loop back on. Oh, Heather, I didn't send you I sent you so many memes this morning. I didn't want to bombard you, but there was one that I didn't send you that just said, if your plants are outside, they gon' die. Because it is definitely, it's gonna freeze tonight here in Dallas. Okay, so I'm just going to solder this back on there, and then I can put a jump ring through that. to put this on a chain. And since I already used extra easy solder for my bezel, I'm going to use extra easy solder for this as well. Okay, there you go. That repair was not as difficult as I thought, except for the fact that, there we go, I was gonna say, oh yay! Corvus, when are you streaming? Sorry, my phone keeps buzzing. Okay, she can wait. Yes, what time are you streaming, Corvus? Everyone wants to know, including me. I will probably go home though and watch you from home. So I maybe if you're gonna start like in 10 minutes, I will. Heather, I don't think that's right. 8:90. Yay. Okay, so 8 o'clock our time. Awesome. So I may be a little late because I'm gonna go home and watch from home because I don't want to be at work anymore after I'm done with this stream. But this is very funny because Heather's in a little. Alright, 8 o'clock our time if you want to watch Corvus unbox her goodies. And yes, I will absolutely watch, but like I said, I'm gonna go home first, so I may be a little bit late, but I will be on. Okay, so I successfully did solder both of my components with their bezels. This one I managed to keep the factory attachment intact. This one I did not, so I just resoldered it on like so. Now ideally I would throw these in the tumbler before I set my moonstones, but the good thing about moonstones is they're fairly durable, so I'm pretty confident that I'll be able to put these in the tumbler after I've set them and polish them up.
I'm not screaming anymore.
I did not tell the people from where you were screaming, so that's, if you want to share that information, then that's on you. Okay, so now I'm going to take my prong pusher and my bench block, and I'm going to attempt to set my stone. So first thing is, let's drop my stone in there. My camera is staring at all of you. That's upside down. Okay, now, if you're not completely sure if your stone's going to fit in your bezel, that's strangely apropos. And anyway, so if there's, oh, son of beach. Yes, I dropped it.
Poor owl's ear.
I see it. Okay, BRB. Okay, so back to this. Okay, so if there's any doubt that your stone's gonna fit in your bezel, do yourself a favor, lay a piece of dental floss across it so that you can pop it out if you need to. That's less important when you have an open back bezel like I do, because you could always poke out your stone. And of course, you know, try not to drop it on the floor, because that's never helpful.
Nope.
Alright, get in there. You keep wanting to flip. Excuse me while I take this off camera and talk some sense into it. Well, I gave you gin to go with your tonic.
I'm not complaining about the gin. I'm just stating it like
You're offering it up to the committee as an excuse?
This committee, yes, not the main committee.
Well, no, not that committee.
If I offered it to the main committee, I might have to share bourbon.
Ha.
But this committee still loves me for now.
Okay, so... Alright, so I have successfully rested my stone in my settings, and I'm going to use my prong pusher to push the edges of my setting over around my stone to hold it in place. You want to do this generally working in opposition. If you don't want that to happen, flip back over. Sorry, once again it needs to come off camera and be told to think about what it's done. That's cool, Diane. I've been watching some bead embroidery things on Pinterest because I'm trying to do more Pinterest when I can't sleep than Facebook, just because Pinterest is positive, crafty stuff, and Facebook is not always so positive. So I've been looking at some bead embroidery stuff. And of course then, you know, they do the hyperspeed videos of it, and you're like, oh, that didn't look so hard. And you know, every time I have that response and then I try it, I'm like, oh, this is what people mean when they say that about me.
Spoiler alert, lies.
Yeah, spoiler alert, lies. It is hard. Okay, and then I think, okay, so I've successfully set my stone, but you'll notice that this is not around anymore. Okay, the reason for this is, well, first of all, because I've been smashing on it, but also because when you heat metal, it anneals the metal, it softens the metal, and so since this component is made of fairly, you know, not super heavy gauge sterling, once I annealed it and then squashed on it, it just got completely misshapen, which I will admit I wasn't really expecting. Now that it's happened, it's not really a surprise. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my chasing hammer. I'm just going to hammer it. And what the hammering does is it's going to work harden that metal so that it's less likely, because I mean, if I sell this to a client, like, I don't want the client to be like, you know, oh my gosh, I picked it up and like squished it into a figure 8. So I'm going to go ahead and just hammer this. And yes, I realize I do still need to do some more work on that bezel, but I'm going to hammer it first to give it a little bit more sturdiness. It's going to change the look a little bit. It's going to be flat instead of round, which I'm fine with. I like hammered things. If you're going to, really, I dropped it and it got stuck on my sweater. So if you're going to do this, just, of course, make sure you don't mash your stone. But so there we go, that's hammered, but now it's a whole lot sturdier. Like, I'm pressing pretty hard on this and it's not moving. I mean, if the stream doesn't know I like hammering things by now, Corvus, they haven't been paying attention. Just saying. Okay, so now I think I can finish setting this stone without completely misshaping this pendant. Alright, and there we go. So we have one eye with moonstone pendant. Right? Okay, and now we're gonna real quick try and do the other one. This one I don't think I need to hammer because it doesn't have this big round loop of wire. Like, this one is just, by its nature, it's sturdier than the other one. So we're just gonna go ahead and drop our moonstone in there. Also, incidentally, this bezel is much better sized. That one was like that one was, well, I mean, you can see. I will point out for the class, like, the wonkiness of this. Like, it's not quite, it's just off. Like, didn't quite get it soldered centered on the eye, I think. So the moonstone's just a little bit kind of shifted to the side. Again, if I didn't point it out, hopefully nobody would notice, but it is a little wonky. The good thing about adding the hammering is I think it adds to the overall organic nature of the whole pendant, which means that the wonkiness is looks intentional. Okay, so here we have this one, and if I were my prong pusher, where would I be? There it is. See, sleeping is a good thing.
Isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Trazodone dreams, man. They're a thing.
I could have whole movies. I do have whole movies.
Okay, so now I'm just using my prong pusher to set this. Okay, so interesting things that I read on Facebook. When I wake up but I don't really want to be awake, is one of the things, so I'm sure a lot of you out there have heard of like the whole first sleep and second sleep concept of, you know, back in Victorian times, it wasn't expected that you would sleep for 4 hours straight. You would basically sleep for 8 hours straight. You would basically sleep for 4 or 5 hours, and then you would have a period of an hour or two of being awake, and then you would go back to sleep. But one of the things that they did in between first and second sleep, Heather, is recorded their dreams because they could recall them more vividly. So, and I definitely last night had a first and a second sleep.
I definitely had major motion pictures and also TV series as dreams. For sure. Like, decent ideas.
Okay, well, I don't know if I want to encourage you in this because I don't. Okay, if you go off to Hollywood, you better take me with you. That's all I'm saying.
Of course.
I'm a solid front person for any venture. Just saying.
Emotional support person for any venture whatsoever.
Okay, so I did manage to successfully set that one, and that one worked much better, which just speaks to like precision and positioning. Like I did a better job of soldering this one. It is more centered, though. You can see when you're looking at the back that it's still not completely centered. But also this shape of pendant definitely lent itself better to having a stone set than this one, just because of the innate weakness of this piece of wire after soldering. But either way, I did manage to make 2 moonstone set eye pendants. Again, these pendants, the original components are from Nina Designs. Check them out, ninadesigns.com. They are not, they're not selling to individuals anymore. They're only wholesale, but if there's anything on their website that you like, absolutely let me know. I'm happy to order it for you. We should be doing another Nina Designs charm sale sometime soon-ish. But for now, there we go. Freeform Friday is done with 2 moonstone set eye pendants, which I think I will put and wear on a chain together. So thank you all so much for hanging out with us on the Beading Dreams Freeform Friday stream. Thank you for listening to me talk about my rappelling experience, and you know, thank you, Corvus. Thanks for hanging out with us. By the way, both of these pieces are for sale, so if anybody would like a price on the sterling silver eye with moonstone, just let me know and I'm happy to give it to you.
Also, Corvus, post in Beading Dreams stream about your stream.
Right, Corvus, yes, that's a good point. If you didn't hear that, post in our Discord about your unboxing. So that's it for me, Allison from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. The voice in the background is Heather, and I'm the proprietor. She is the manager of an actual brick and mortar retail bead shop. We are here in Dallas, Texas, and we are open for business still and ready to feed your need to be from Monday through Saturday, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. If you're not local in Dallas, of course, you can find us on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, 5 times a week with complimentary tutorials. We do stream Wednesday through Saturday at 6 p.m. Central Time, plus Thursdays at noon with live merchandise sales every Wednesday and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. So the bitty one is going to Smee. Got it. So that means you can catch me back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream, tomorrow at 6 p.m. with this. This is our mandala medallion pendant, which is, as Diane observed earlier, circular brick stitch. That's going to be tomorrow at 6 p.m. followed by a live merchandise sale. So we will look forward to seeing each and every one of you. Then also I'm going to shuffle myself on home so I can catch Corvus's unboxing stream. So anybody who is free later tonight, hop on Twitch and watch her because she is freaking hilarious. Love her to death. So everyone have a great night, and we'll see y'all back on this channel, twitch.tv/Beading Dream tomorrow. Bye.
Hey, Kansas City, have you heard the news? Google Fiber is retiring their TV service as early as February 28th. The good news? Spectrum TV is better than ever. Get over 125 channels and access to over 80,000 on-demand titles for just $44.99 a month. Plus, you can access popular apps like Netflix and YouTube right from the Spectrum Guide. So make sure to keep your favorite TV shows, local channels, live sports, and everything else you love to watch. Get Spectrum TV today. Restrictions apply. Visit spectrum.com/gettv.
Take your taste buds on a culinary adventure with sandwiches, salads, and bowls from Mendocino Farms. With fresh ingredients you can feel good about, every meal from Mendo is sure to satisfy for lunch or dinner. Tap the banner to explore more for dine-in, takeout, delivery, or catering.
Your favorite green M&M's